with another video. Excuse the way I look. I didn't have time to really do my hair and it's really messed up, and I've been trying to record this video for the longest and everything keeps happening for me not to record this. This video is going to be the last video that I make regarding the man I was seeing in New York. So this video will be the last of the videos. So to kind of pick up, not from the last video, because the last video was, of course, if you watched it, was about my mother. So the previous one before that, where I moved in to my house in Georgia. And I'll start from there. The things that I'm going to say in this video, I contemplated very long and hard on what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. I also want to say, before I even get into this video, that this video and all the other videos that I have made, not just when it pertains to him, but my other family members, these videos are not done in hate or dislike. I know I've stated in other videos that, you know, I hate my mother and all that, but that's how I was feeling in that instance. But these videos are not done in spite or in hate, so please understand that these videos are solely for me and my process. So what I'm going to say today regarding him is not done in hate or any type of revenge or anything like that. It's actually quite the opposite. I am currently living in the house that I ended up getting when I got to Georgia. I moved in to my house in May of 2021, and it has been absolutely wonderful. So starting last year, May 2021, I'll start there. When I moved in, I was just getting acclimated with everything, as far as living on my own, being with my children and getting them settled into a new environment, a new place. So that's what I had going on. So jumping just right into the timeline of things, currently from May 2021, starting there, up until now, I'll take you up until now. So May 2021, I move in, I get myself situated. It's been currently 3 months since leaving, well, breaking it off with the man that I was seeing, and I hadn't spoken to him or seen him. So moving in here on my own and literally having the mindset of starting brand new and moving forward is that's what I had in mind. That was my goal. That is my goal. So in the middle of May of 2021, I get a phone call, and it's him. This phone call wakes me up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking I'm dreaming, but it's really him on the phone, so I pick up. Mind you, I haven't spoken to him in 3 months, so a lot has happened with him and a lot has happened with me within that time. So I pick up. Before I could even get anything out, he says, you know, don't hang up, don't hang up, don't hang up. He automatically starts saying he's sorry. He just keeps apologizing. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm still so in shock, I can't even say anything. Like, I didn't even know this phone call. I didn't even, wasn't registering that this phone call was happening. So I'm literally had nothing to say. I'm like kind of in shock, and I'm quiet. And he's saying, you know, he's sorry, and he knows that I hate him. I immediately say, I don't hate you, because I don't. And then he goes on to say to me, you know what you've always told me before, that you'd always be there for me no matter what happens between us. Does that still hold true? I said, yes, it does. You know, what's wrong? What do you need? And he goes on to ask if he can bring some of his things by my house and keep them in my garage. In Brooklyn, I had a garage where I lived. And so I went on to say, I don't live there anymore, I moved. It kind of took him by surprise, and he was a little quiet, and then he said, oh, where'd you move to? I told him I moved to Georgia, and you know, he kind of said, oh, you moved in with your sister? And I said, no, I got a house. And then he goes on to congratulate me. He says, you know, congratulations, and that he's glad one of us got out of here, is what he said. I still was kind of quiet. I just went on to ask him, you know, is everything okay? Are you good? And he says, yeah, he'll be fine, is what he said. It was a little awkward because it was a lot of silence, because I didn't know what to say. At that time, you would think a woman would have all this to say, but it was just a shock that I was even getting this phone call. So I was literally at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say. So it was an awkward silence. And then he went on to say a few things, and then click, he hangs up. I debated on whether or not I wanted to call him back, but then I decided not to, because I was like, you know, everything that's happened, it just was not a good idea for me to call back, so I didn't. I let it go. So as time progresses, I had decided to take a trip to Jamaica. Several months have gone by, and it is now July. I had an opportunity to go to Jamaica, which is something that I needed at that time, because I was wanting a vacation. I was wanting to get out of here, and I was supposed to go with a sister here in Georgia that I am very good friends with online, on social media, and here. She was supposed to go with me, but it ended up last minute I was going by myself because the dates didn't work out for her. So I was going to go regardless. I did. I decided to take a trip to Jamaica by myself, solo. And it was much needed. I got out of here and I got to Jamaica, which is a long story, crazy story with that as well, but I'm not going to go into that. I got to Jamaica. I enjoyed myself. It was an amazing time of rest and relaxation that was much needed for my mental and emotional state that I was in. It really just kind of rejuvenated me, and it was something that I was happy that took place. You know, I was really happy. My time out there was good, and then that last day in Jamaica, it was a weird day. That last day, I woke up feeling really uneasy and unsettled, and I didn't know why. And I'm telling you guys this because as you guys watch my videos, I'm only giving you guys bits and pieces of the relationship that I had with the man that I was with. So you guys don't see the whole thing and the whole story. I'm only giving you bits and pieces, but me and him had a very deep spiritual connection, and we're very much connected in a weird way. Any of you guys have experienced that type of connection, you know what I'm talking about, as far as knowing each other's feelings and feeling it. And so this was not the first time this feeling has happened, and so when this happened on the last day, when I was in Jamaica, getting ready to pack up my stuff and go back to Georgia, it was a very heavy feeling. And so I decided I was going to check, because I knew where the feeling was coming from. So I checked social media. I checked his social media, and he had posted something. It was something in regards to saying, if you don't fight for the person that you love, then you don't really love them, or something like that. Something along those lines. If you don't fight for them, then you don't love them. And when I seen it, I automatically knew it was for me. And I knew where the feeling was coming from. So I automatically got upset. Like I was so triggered, you can say, angered by this post, because I just didn't understand why he would post something like that and say something like that, knowing everything that we have gone through and I have gone through, to show him how much I did love him. So it was like a slap in my face, ultimately, is what I felt. Because the entire time, I felt like I was fighting for the relationship. I felt like I was fighting for it. And I know a lot of people will probably say, why do you even care? He did all this stuff to you. He's done all this. Why do you even care to? The thing is, this relationship, he is much different than everyone else that I had been with. And I know a lot of you won't understand it, but he is. And I didn't go about my relationship with him the way I went with everybody else. I was a totally different person. I literally stepped, the way I was before him was a totally different woman. So with him, I was another woman that I had transformed into, and I was being this person that I had found myself being with him, that I would have never been with anyone else. I would have never acted the way I did with anyone else. It's just him. So, and we all have that one person. He's that person for me. So it bothered me. So I'm in the taxi on the way back to this hotel, because it was a long story. I had a buddy pass on the way back home to Georgia, and that plane was full. So I had to purchase a flight for the next day. So I had to stay an extra day in Jamaica. So I had to go back to a hotel. So I'm in the taxi on the way back to a hotel, and I couldn't even fight the urge to call, because I wanted to scream. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to say everything that I wanted to say to him when he called me in May right now. Like, I didn't have the words to speak in May, but now I wanted to speak right now, because we never resolved the issue. We never resolved anything between us. It was just he left and that was it. I didn't hear nothing. Like, there was nothing. We didn't speak about what happened. We didn't speak about everything that he did. We didn't speak about any of it. It was just up in the air, just done. So I wanted to speak and I wanted to scream. So I'm in the taxi and I call him. He picks up and I said, "Do you have time to speak?" And he says, "Always." And then from there, I don't even know exactly. I was so angry. I was just flying, like, I started just asking questions, but then I was so angry that my emotions took over and I started crying, like I was bawling all in the taxi. The taxi cab driver was looking at me like he didn't know what to do. And I'm crying so hard because of all of these emotions. And I've never been this type of woman to cry. Like, anybody who knows me knows I don't cry like that. So this entire process of me literally leaving New York with another transformation that I was going through brought all of these emotions out that I had been suppressing for so long, for years. I literally was this woman that never cried, that took everything, very closed off, very hard, to now a different woman who's literally opening herself up to feel, and I'm feeling, and I can't even control the emotions, and it's just flowing. And this is how it was, and I'm crying. And he's on the other line saying, "Are you okay? What's going on? Where are you?" And I between sobs, I'm like, "Jamaica, I'm in Jamaica." And he's like, "Why are you in Jamaica? Who you're in Jamaica with?" I'm like, "By myself." And when I said by myself, I think it triggered him to say he thought something was wrong when I was crying. He thought something had happened, and he's like, "What's going on? What happened?" So I'm telling him nothing happened. I'm crying because I'm so angry about everything, and I need to say what I need to say. And so he listened, and I'm speaking and I'm yelling, and I am telling him everything, how I felt then, how I feel now, everything. And he let me speak. And then he just he spoke, but he still didn't really acknowledge the very things that happened. It was like it was surface level, and he was trying to not hit on the points that I had mentioned when I was speaking to him. But he did, you can tell he was dodging certain questions and trying to go around the fact, but he was just more glad that I had called so that we can speak, that he could hear me on the other line. And I knew that. So we spoke for a very long time about a lot of things that had happened, and that went on behind the scenes that I don't want to go into too much detail with on this video. A lot of things that you guys don't know about that happened, that he didn't know about, that I spoke about, that he became aware of. But so since then, of July 2021, when I got back home to Georgia, we were on speaking terms. So he knew where I stood. I literally put my feelings on the table. I told him how I felt, everything. And he still apologized then. So I got an apology in May, just a verbal one, asking for him to drop some stuff off. And then when I called him in July, it was still the same thing. He apologized. It was a lot of this man has a lot of good words. He can speak like no other. He has a gift of gab. He knows how to use his words. He does things I don't even think he knows that he's doing, as far as using certain verbiage when speaking. And he's very, very, very good. Let me just put it at that. He's very good at using words. I do have my guard up. I understand how he is. I know how he is. So since then, like I said, we've been in communication off and on, sporadically, since July 2021. Now, the time frame leading up from last year until now, I'll give you a little rundown. Like I said, I stated to him everything about how I felt, and if we were to continue conversating as friends, then, because I don't hate him. That's something that I want everybody to understand. And a lot of women probably wouldn't understand it, because what he did to me, if they were to experience a lot of that, they would absolutely hate this person and they would never speak to him again. I understand that, and I totally understand the feelings too. But I don't hold hate in my heart for him because of the love that I have for him. And I know a lot of you women wouldn't understand that, and that's, probably some of you men wouldn't understand it, but as much pain as he brought me, I would never wish it upon him. and I wouldn't. I don't know how else to kind of to explain it. Yes, he lied to me, he deceived me, and he betrayed me. Like I said before, there's other things that are going on in the background that you guys don't know about, and I do understand his stance in a way. And was I angry? Am I angry? Yes, yes, yes. Do I hate him? No. Because through all of this, I hold love for him. Because the entire time when we were together, and even now, I just want him to be better. The thing is, I know he wants to be better. He just doesn't know how to go about being better. And I hope he finds it. You know, I truly do. So, with that being said, we still conversated, and I told him if we were going to have the conversations, then we are friends and I have boundaries. Since the narrative has now changed, he is so-called married now. We can't speak the same way we spoke, and we can't do the things that we did. And so he understood it. Did he like it? No. But it was my boundaries to protect me going forward. Do I feel like I could be friends with him? Honestly, no. No. And he feels the same way as well. There's no way we can speak and just be friends. There's no way. No way in the world. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There's no way in the world. Did I know that when telling him this? Yes. I would keep the conversations very short, and even spaced out. And he didn't like this. He doesn't like it at all. He wants to be in communication regularly, which is understandable. I understand that, but I can't. So July passes, we're in August now. Some things happen with him in August, personal things happen with him in August. He calls and asks me for help. Well, he calls and asks to speak to me about what's going on with him. I speak to him, I listen to what he has to say. I helped him out, I still helped him out. I'm just not the type of person. I am the type of person if it comes to a certain people. But like I said, he's different. It's just, he's very different. So when he needed the help, I gave him the help in August. September rolls around, we're talking, we're still talking, communicating. In September is where I actually came across Queen Afua's website. You remember I had her book already for about 2 years now. I just hadn't put it to use. I came across her website and some things online that she had a program for women. And so I decided to enroll in this program, which is something that I'll speak about in another video. But this program is a healing program for women, and it's to heal, you know, inner childhood trauma, inner wounds that, you know, that we all have. And so I thought it was a very, very good idea for me to do. Is what I wanted to do, was the path that I was walking anyway. So I decided to enroll, and I had spoke to him, the guy, my ex. I had spoken to him about it, and I told him it was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea for him to do, because her son, Supernova, has a healing program for men called the Wellness Warriors. And so It's solely focused on all men, but black men in general, that suffer from trauma and childhood trauma. And I mentioned it to him. I thought it was a good idea that if, you know, I could heal, he can heal. And it would help him so much in where he wants to go, and also his character and who he is. So, because I know what he struggles with, and you know, he admits to me about stuff that he does struggle with, and so I thought this was a good idea for him if we both can do it. And I had mentioned it to him, and he said, you know, he would look into it, but of course he never went. But I ended up enrolling, and this was a 3-month course. And you know, the class started in like late October, November, and we were talking within that time frame, you know, off and on, just hello, you know, just friendly conversation. And the conversations would always veer off into a lot of, you know, I love yous and I miss yous and all that stuff. And so I knew that he hadn't changed. That was a given because of the way he was acting, what he was still doing, what he's still doing. Admittedly enough that he had admitted to me what he's still doing. It ultimately kind of just made me fall back a lot. Because of course, like I said, it's different. I'm different. That's just like an understatement, but I'm very different. So I'm not that same woman I was when I was in the relationship with him. And so as I enrolled into this healing program, January kind of rolls around, and you know, I had spoken to him in that month of January, and he was getting a little upset about the communication as far as us not speaking on a regular basis. And I'm not saying that I wasn't either, but he would express that because like I said, I would fall back. And then when I would contact him, it was because I was having that feeling. and that feeling is a feeling of just a weird pull. It's just a weird pull. So when I would contact him, it would be like several months I hadn't talked to him, or like a month or so, and he would be upset with that and be like, oh, so now you're contacting me, why? And I'm like, I'm just checking on you, I have this weird feeling. And then he would go on to speak, you know. I ended up graduating and ascending from the program in February, the end of February. And, you know, I hadn't talked to him since like January, and then like March rolls around, this month, the month that we're in right now. The beginning of March, I started having that weird feeling again, but this feeling was a feeling of like dislike or like hate. It was a weird feeling. And so I contact him, and I was just like, hey, you know, I'm reaching out. And then he goes on to say, why are you doing this to me? And I'm like, what do you mean? Why am I doing this to you? And he's like, his words, you reappear and disappear like you're a magician every 2 or 3 months, and then you come back. And I'm saying, like, I came back because I have this tugging feeling. I have this weird feeling of like that I needed to contact you. And then and mind you, I didn't tell him the feeling was of dislike. I was like, this weird feeling. And then he automatically just says, you know, I grew to hate you because I love you so much. And I was like, there's the feeling. I'm like, that's the feeling I was feeling. And so I was like, I felt you. And then he says, yeah, I hate to say it, like I grew to hate you because of the way I love you. And he's like, his feelings are misplaced. And I'm like, of course it's misplaced because I didn't do anything to you. Like, I did absolutely nothing to you. So he admits and he acknowledges his feelings and what he's feeling. And I'm saying, I feel you all the time. And it's weird because I come back in to say hello or check on you like that because I feel those feelings. And he doesn't want that. He wants us to either be regularly communicating all the time, or I'm not gonna say or not at all. He says he falls back too because he thinks it's better for me, which is fine, you know. But the thing is, he gets angry and then I feel it. So it's a weird, it's very, very, very weird. It's like, I'll fall back, he gets angry, he falls back, he gets angry, and I'm feeling this, and I'm like, what is going on? So we're in this weird cycle of speaking and then not speaking, and then somebody's angry about it. It's just very crazy. But when I reached back out like the beginning of this month to tell him, you know, basically to see what's going on, and he tells me all that, you know, I go on and tell him, he congratulates me for, you know, ascending in this program, but then he goes on to say, you know, he figured I didn't want nothing to do with him after I graduated and ascended from this program of healing and becoming better and transforming. He felt like I didn't want anything to do with my past. That's how he put it. That's not the case. But like I said before, it's boundaries. It's boundaries. That's all it is. It's protecting me. I'm not going to be in the same space with you the way we were, because we can't. And I am literally going this way, which is the way I wanted him to go too, which is why I presented the healing program for him. And to really step up his character and who he is as a person. It's all I've ever wanted for him, was to be a better man, to become a man, you know? It's very hard to sit here and talk about things like this, especially my life and the things that I go through, that a lot of us do go through but are so embarrassed to speak about. Becoming so vulnerable and being in that spot to do things that you wouldn't normally do when you're in a relationship or in a certain situation. And I'm not too proud to speak about it. Yes, I ignored the red flags with this person because I loved him. I hurt myself and pained myself because I ignored my own intuition, which I already knew. So ultimately, yes, he did those things to me, but I did those things to me too. I did them because I knew it already. And it's hard for people to sit up here and take accountability for it, and to sit up there and see their actions and say, hey, they could easily hate somebody for this, and I can sit here and say I hate him for doing this to me, but I did this to me. I did this to me too. So I can't hate him. I can't hate him. It was something that I needed to learn, something that I needed to literally go through and to experience, so that I can become me, so that I can become much wiser, so I can make better decisions, so I can, you know, be a better woman, a better mother, you know, all of that. I look at the bigger picture here. Everyone that we encounter is a lesson, something that we can take away from that. Yes, like that saying says, either a lesson or a blessing. But it's both. This lesson is a blessing. So I don't hate him. I don't want revenge. I want him to become better. I want him to live life instead of just surviving. I want him to take off the mask and the facade and be who you are. That's what I want for him. The person that you guys see on YouTube, the person that your moray that you listen to, you have no clue who this man is. Is he who he portrays himself to be? No. Do I dislike, despise, or hate him for it? No. Because he you know, he put his time and his work and his effort into this, but he is a different person. He is hiding a lot of things that he doesn't want people to know about, which is understandable. Nobody, you know, you don't want your dirty laundry aired out in the open like that. But when it starts to affect other people, then you got things to worry about, and much bigger things than me sitting here doing videos, because I'm not here to get you. I'm not out to get you. I've always been the woman to actually protect him from those other type of women that could easily lay his dirty laundry out and just drag him all over the internet. I do these videos for myself, and to think about it, these videos I hope will help him. I truly do. I literally cut off communication with him last week, is when I blocked him on a social media platform that we both communicated through. I blocked him because I found out a couple of other things, you know, from some people that actually messaged me on social media about it. So I blocked him because, like I said, there's no change within him. He's still the same person. So he used to ask me, how many times does he have to apologize? Because when we speak and we communicate, sometimes I bring up things about what he's done, and he hates that, and he says he apologized a million times. How many times does he have to apologize? Well, I wanted to make it known here. Your apology is just words. Like I said before, this man has a gift with words. He knows how to use them. His words do not match his actions at all, whatsoever. And I'm sick of the words. I'm done with the words. I'm done hearing you speak. I've sat here and listened to you speak, being with you for almost 7 years, 6 years, sitting here, listening to you speak, and I hung on to every word that you said. I'm done listening to the words, and from here it's just action. So you can apologize all you want to me, but when you're still walking and moving the same way you were, and doing the same exact things that you were doing when we were together, now it's different women, now it's other people, the apologies mean nothing. The apologies mean nothing. So with that being said, I just have to end this video with a letter, because this is where we are right now. I'm going to read a letter, and I'll end the video with this letter. I know our meeting was not by happenstance or coincidence. Nothing happens by chance. We are meant to connect in this life, to learn our lessons, and probably for a bigger purpose. I have no regrets. I loved you genuinely and authentically, regardless of how I let myself be treated by you. I actually needed to be treated that way so that I could become aware of how I was treating myself. You and I are very similar in that aspect, knowing how you choose to treat yourself by your current situation. I will always cherish the memories and the time that we spent. Although our journey, short, will always have a long and lasting impact on me. I take full accountability for my actions and my part that I played in the pain of others and myself. Through this entire relationship with you, I try my best to help you, to overcome things that you struggle with, to overcome yourself so that you can rise above the very things that distract and throw you off track. I neglected myself and I ignored my emotional and mental well-being, and I got swept up trying to be a savior. Meanwhile, I myself needed saving. I decided to save myself. I chose me. I started to give myself everything that I wanted you and other people to give me. Everyone has a past. Everyone has things that they do or have done or are doing that they aren't proud of. But that doesn't mean that they are unworthy of everything that is good. I don't hate you. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I don't want revenge. I just hope that from these videos you can see that and understand that. Through my healing, I wanted you to heal. I wanted you, and I want you to be you and take the mask off so that you can set yourself free and finally just live. You chose what you chose, and I'm at peace with knowing that I gave you everything that I needed to give you. And with that, I wish you all the best, and I wish you well.